Hello, welcome back. So, um, if you all have the little houses out in your neighborhood with the books in it, I've got a couple around my neighborhood. So that's where I got this book from. And I thought this is pretty cool because remember Miss Cat has been talking to you about Little Red Riding Hood and the Big Bad Wolf? Well, this is Little Red Riding Hood, but this is Little Red Riding Hood and the Lonely Wolf. Okay, here it is, Little Red Riding Hood and the Lonely Wolf. And this story is by Maria West, and the pictures are by Chris Lynch. Okay, so I'm going to read this book to you. Little Red Riding Hood. Here we go. So, once upon a time, deep in the forest, there lived a lonely wolf. He spent his days dreaming of finding a family to love him. See, he's kind of lonely. Near the wolf's home, there was a tiny cottage where a kind granny lived. Each week, her granddaughter, Little Red Riding Hood, would come to visit and bring her treats of the yummiest sort. And look, you can see the wolf is kind of watching Red Riding Hood going up to Granny's house. On those days, the wolf would hide under the window and listen to Granny and Red sing and laugh together. Look at him. See, he's sitting under the window and you can see Granny and Red inside. He's just listening. He would smell the bread baking in the oven and feel the warmth coming from the fire. The wolf wanted very much to live with Granny and be her pet, but he stayed away. Look how lonely he is. You see, not too long ago there had been a sticky situation with a wolf gone bad and these 3 little pigs, and now everyone in the land was afraid of wolves. Remember the huff and puff and blow your house down? Yeah. See, so it got a bad reputation. One day, Granny left to go to the market. The wolf thought to himself, maybe I can just take a peek in to see what it feels like inside a cozy home. So he crept inside the cottage. See, Granny left, went to the store. And look at him, he went in. Ooh. As the wolf explored the wonderful rooms of the cottage, he heard Little Red Riding Hood coming through the door. Granny, Red called out, I have come to bring you cakes and bread. The wolf quickly threw on Granny's robe, cap, and slippers and jumped into her bed to hide. So look, there's Red. Red's coming in. Granny, hi. And look at the wolf. He had to quick get dressed up like Granny or else Red would know it was him. Finding Granny in bed, Little Red Riding Hood asked in a worried voice, Granny, are you feeling okay today? But the frightened wolf only replied with a whimper. And my Granny, Red was worried, you look terribly sick. The wolf nodded his head carefully. Oh, see, look, there's Red. Look at the wolf, dressed up in Granny stuff, sitting in the bed. What big eyes you have today, Granny, said Red. You must have a headache. The wolf whimpered again, and so Red fluffed up the pillow to make Granny more comfortable. Granny, what big feet you have sticking out from under the blanket. They must be very cold. The wolf whimpered again, and so Red put the quilt over her feet. See? Look. Oh, look at the feet, big feet sticking out. Red, what a sweet granddaughter. My, what a big nose you have, Granny, said Red. You probably need a tissue, you poor thing. The wolf whimpered and gave a sniffle, and so Red brought her tissues and then fed her warm soup and a muffin. Look at that. Red was so sad that Granny was feeling ill, so she read her a story and then sang her a song. The wolf had never felt so cared for in all his life. This is what it must be like to have a family, he thought to himself, and he began to smile and rest his eyes. Oh, he's really enjoying it, isn't he? All this attention from Red. Because remember, he's a lonely wolf. Just as the wolf was nodding off to sleep, the door opened and Granny walked inside. Little Red Riding Hood looked at Granny, shocked and confused. Granny came home, but Granny was in bed. What's going on? She jumped back and cried out, "Oh no, Granny, who is that in your bed?" Oh no! The wolf hid under the covers and began to cry. But Granny was old and wise, and she knew that the wolf meant them no harm. In fact, she even understood how he felt, for she lived alone in the woods, and Little Red's visits made her so happy. "Come out from under the covers, sweet wolf," said Granny softly, but the wolf was too afraid and continued to cry. So Granny hummed the wolf a lullaby, and he listened. The wolf thought back to all the times he hid under the window and listened to Granny and Red sing songs. It made him feel warm inside. He felt loved. And so he popped out of the covers, wagged his tail, and licked Granny on the nose to say thank you. They're doing little songs, la 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 la. And the wolf felt good, so he popped out of the covers. He does look happy. See his smile? Granny and Red played with the wolf all afternoon, and when it was time for dinner, Granny invited the wolf to stay forever. Each week, Little Red Riding Hood came to visit Granny and the wolf to sing, laugh, and bake treats together, and they lived happily ever after as a family. Look at that. Now the wolf is no longer lonely. He has a family now. And they probably have to stay inside for the time being. All right. Thanks for listening.